Hi, I'm Hara. I am an Interac ALT assigned in the second largest city in Japan by land area. This city is called Hamamatsu. Like other cities all over Japan, the academic year in Hamamatsu City includes 6 weeks of summer vacation and 2 weeks of winter vacation. And that's one of the things that I like about my job, being paid while on vacation. In this video, I'll share 10 things that you need to know about the Interac ALT position and more. Number 1. Your daily fare will be reimbursed. If you are in a non-driving position, you'll fill up a form at the end of the month for your regular expense claim. This refers to the amount you spend for riding the bus or train going to school and coming back home. What I like about it is that we don't need to keep tickets or proof of travel since the company already knows our route. What usually happens is some ALTs prefer to just walk from their apartment to station since it's relatively near, but they're still entitled to the bus fare budget every day. So it's like an indirect extra income. Number 2. You'll have an initial training before being actually dispatched to your assigned schools. For someone who has no teaching experience like me, this is very important. In the initial training, we were basically taught how to be an ALT, because trust me when I say it's super different from being a regular teacher. We also had some demonstrations and were given feedback on how to improve our current skills and just fit in. So we also discussed the expectation versus the reality of Japanese public school system, which was honestly a little shocking to me, even though I've always been an anime fan. And that expectation versus reality will be up for another vlog. Number 3. You'll have someone who will assist you in getting settled for a smooth transition. So we have someone we call IC, or independent contractor. They are English-speaking Japanese who will help you get comfortable transferring to your new apartment. They'll help you with the processing of documents in the city hall, buying your new apartment essentials like the futon set, linens, plates, rice cooker, and other basic needs to set you up in your apartment. They'll also guide you to the basic places that you need to know, like the nearest supermarket, drugstores, bus stops, ramen shop, 100 yen shops, or even an eat-all-you-can restaurant. They will also teach you the basic features of the apartment as well as the rules and regulation. And they'll also help you set your smart TV and also your Wi-Fi and connect all your devices. Number 4. You get assistance in case you need help as long as it is job related. So there's what we call IC request. We send an email to a designated office staff to request an IC's assistance. In my case, for example, I remember I asked for an IC's assistance when I wanted my bike to be transferred to another station 14.3 kilometers away from my place. Yes, it was super far. So my IC picked me up early in the morning and we put my bike inside her car and we drove to my school together. Another example is when one ALT lost her bike key and she asked for IC's assistance to drive her around town and maybe retrace her steps hoping they'll find the key. But it got rejected since it's not anymore related to her job. So yeah, that's what happened. Number 5. You'll have an option to apply for monetary assistance in case you can't pay for the initial deposit and key in money for your apartment. Just like moving into a new apartment in my country, initial deposits and advance payments are also a thing here in Japan. But they have this key in money. There's really no need for me to go into details, but what you need to know is that you need to pay for it before you can actually transfer to your new apartment. So the total amount that you need to pay at the beginning would be around 170 to 180,000 yen, depending on the size of your apartment. And I was like, okay. And being young, dumb, and broke that I was during that time, I had no extra money like that. Good thing Interac had this loan program. They paid a total initial cost and gave me cash allowance since they knew that I was broke. It's actually because I told them. But remember, this was a loan. I had the option to pay the loan monthly for 10 months. I don't think I would be able to transfer if not for the Interac loan program, so thank you, Interac. Number 6. You'll have a quarterly training with skilled trainers. So we have 3 general meetings/trainings in one school year. All Interac ALTs in the same branch would gather in one place and listen to updates and new techniques in how to entertain kids. No, I'm kidding. We're actually taught new techniques in how to effectively teach our students in a fun and engaging way. We also have demos and stuff, and I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd rate its usefulness 7. Number 7. you'll have an observation day. This is done by trainers and they'll provide you with useful feedback after. Of course, they'll tell you that you have nothing to worry and that it's just an observation so they can tell you the areas that you need to improve on. But honestly, that was the very same reason why I got so nervous. After the observation, you'll sit down and talk in an office or something and talk about the disaster you just did. Or you actually realize that you're good enough for a first timer. But since nobody's perfect, they'll tell you the points that you need to work on. Example, you need to increase student praising, or you need to make your voice a little louder, or you need to say the F word less, like just twice in 15 minutes is reasonable. Of course, I'm kidding. You obviously can't say those words in front of your students, even if you really want to. Number 8, you'll have a monthly report and a quarterly report. It sounds a bit difficult, but they're actually not really difficult. The monthly report is just a Google form that you can answer for 2 minutes, I swear. And if you have fast hands, you can answer it for a minute. The quarterly report, however, is something you must take seriously. And by seriously, I mean you need to remember what you did for the past months, because if you're like me, I even forget what I ate after a 24-hour period, so this report is very difficult for me. But seriously, this quarterly report is like a summary of what happened. So for example, you notice how the students increase their confidence in speaking English, and that they have fewer spelling mistakes compared to when they were 3.7 years old. So this would only take a few minutes to write, but like a decade of remembering what happened for me. Number 9, your job will officially start at 8:10 and will end at 4:10. It is advised that you have to be inside the office 30 minutes before the clock in. I always arrive at the office 40 minutes before my clock in, every day. Literally every day for the first 10 days of being an ALT. Yeah, that was before I realized, why the hell am I doing that when I can just arrive 10 to 15 minutes before my clock in? Ha, stupid Hara. And then we have an hour lunch break, but sometimes my lunch break would turn into 4 hours because I sometimes have no classes in the afternoon, and I stock food inside my drawer and I take some whenever no one's watching. Number 10, you'll have the option to eat kyoshoku. So kyoshoku is a Japanese term meaning school lunch, and it's very Japanese indeed. For more than a year, I have been eating food which is super strange, I'm sorry. Most of them I haven't eaten or seen before. So kyoshoku is a balanced meal with calorie computation that you can see on the school lunch calendar. As a former carnivore, I can say that deciding to eat kyoshoku, which is just 294 yen to 350 yen depending on the school level, is a life-changing decision. Why? Now I eat vegetables, because I am afraid that the food servers will get offended for the nth time seeing me not finish my tray for the nth time. Oh, forgive me, gods of vegetables. Number 11, you can request for a change in school assignment. So one of my ALT colleagues who lives in the same complex had been complaining for the past year that she had 6 classes every day and that she didn't get enough rest and preparation time, which to me sounds actually unfair. I used to have 5 classes on some days, seldom to be specific, while 3 classes on some days, and I have really lucky days when I have no classes at all. But those days are really boring. 8 hours of desk warming, pretending to be doing something significant when in fact I just read memes online. So back to my story about this colleague. She didn't like her schedule, she didn't like this one school to be specific, so she requested to say goodbye to the school, but she loved some of her school assignments, so she also requested to still stay. The following year, she got her wish granted. Ta-da! Number 12, you have an opportunity for career growth. There's a bigger probability that you won't like to be an ALT forever for obvious reasons. Interac accepts applications for career upgrades given you, of course, fulfill the basic requirements first. You can choose other career paths like path to become a trainer, a manager, a head teacher, etc. You can also choose other paths like saying goodbye to Interac and moving on to the next phase of your life by joining their parent company, which is the LJC or Link Japan Careers. Number 13, you'll be provided with a car by the company if you're in a driving position. You need to pay monthly for the car rent though, because of course nothing is free. The company will also provide snow tires for ALTs who are assigned in snowy area. Number 14, you need to apply for a Japanese driver's license the following year since your international driver's license will be revoked. If you can pass the written and driving test, you'll end up commuting like the non-driving ALTs. Sometimes, schools aren't very accessible with buses or trains, or they happen to be very far from the nearest bus stops. Just like one of my schools, it's a 30-minute walk, so I bought an extra bike and placed it at the station nearest to my school, which happened to be very far, actually. Number 15. For non-driving positions, you'll be commuting every day or bike to school or a mixture of both. Like in my case, my original commute was through bus on my way to the train station, then through local train on my way to the nearest train station from my schools, then walk to my schools. But for practicality and convenience purposes, I bike to the station, ride a local train,
It's
and then
22:45.
shut up. And then bike again to school. Less money and time spent. So in this case, bike is an investment. Number 16. During heavy rains, you're still expected to show up. Basically, you're expected to be prepared for whatever kind of weather. Storms, typhoons, what is that? Since you are an ALT, you're expected to endure all kinds of struggles. Of course, that's only 70% true. It is reasonable to be absent during a tsunami. Number 17. Japan has extreme summer humidity. It is normal for you to reach your assigned schools drenched in sweat, so it would be a better idea if you prepare extra shirts so you won't look like a homeless person who took a 2-minute shower inside a gas station. Number 18, same goes with rainy season. Raincoats can only do so much. There are times when you still get wet even if you're completely geared. Sometimes my rain boots actually catch rainwater. And yes, it sucks 3000. Number 19, you don't have a uniform, but you need to observe the dress code. That means no extra pursing, no tattered jeans, no flashy accessories, no perfumes, no blood red lipstick, no going to school when you're drunk, but you can get drunk the night before school or Friday nights and weekends. Which brings me to my next point. You need to be very careful when you get uber drunk. It shouldn't be in a place where your students could potentially see you. Okay, I'm way out of topic. To continue my point about the dress code, as first-year ALTs, you might feel pressured to wear coats all the time, but don't worry. Just try to observe the office fashion trend and blend in. Some teachers wear plain t-shirts, and others wear extra, like everyday formal. So try your best to be in the middle. Number 20, you have a fixed monthly salary. It doesn't matter how many days you actually work during the month. For example, the month of May, you had 20 days of work, while the month of June, you only had 15 days of work. You'll receive the same salary for May and June, unless you pretended to be sick for 10 days. So number 21, the exception is from March to April. You'll have a prorated salary in both months. That means you'll only get a portion of your salary in March and April since it is the beginning and the end of the school year that isn't covered by your contract. For example, the school year would end March 25th and begin April 9th the following school year. That means you're not paid from March 26th to April 8th. In order for you to not experience extreme malnutrition, my friend, you need to save and prepare for these days of low-income months. Surprise! Number 22. You'll have access to basic Japanese lessons. So, in Interac, we have shared Google Drive where we share Drive. Okay, that's super redundant, I realized. Anyway, in our shared drive, we can see different kinds of materials, almost everything actually, like printable flashcards, digital copies of lesson plans, guides for smooth life in Japan, company rules, list of people to call when you have concerns or questions, which reminds me, I should list my name as a contact person in case ALTs have love-related problems. Yes, my friend, I love listening to your love dilemmas. But I am so out of topic again, so let's go back. In this shared drive, you can see a folder of Japanese lessons, which are actually very useful if you didn't have enough Japanese lessons apps from App Store already. Anyway, the positive points about these lessons are their focus on your potential encounters inside the schools or potential awkward moments with Japanese teachers. If there's one tip that I can't forget from my Jet ALT friend is this. Whenever you run out of Japanese words and you don't know what to say anymore, just smile and say "arigatou gozaimasu" and do an awkward bow and escape the scene by going back to your desk or wherever and pretend again to be busy. Or just watch memes. I honestly realized that I still have a lot to say that you need to know, but I guess I'll save them for another video. Thank you so much for watching!